My next guest is coming off a big win on Contender Series back on October 19th, getting that split decision victory over Solomon Renfro. It is Jonny Parsons back here on the program. Jonny, how's it going, man?
I'm doing well. How are you doing today?
Doing great, but I left out a key detail in that intro. Jonny Parsons, UFC fighter. Congratulations, man. I know we're, a week or so removed from the fight, or less than a week, I should say, but how are you feeling, now that you're a UFC fighter? Has it sunk in yet?
Yeah, there's moments throughout the day where like it kind of hits me, or I'll get a message and someone will bring something up from 10 years ago, and this guy he messaged me and he brought up this moment where I guess he was giving me a ride to the restaurant. He mentioned a restaurant I was working at the time, and it was weird because like, man, I must have been begging for a ride or something, because it wasn't someone who was obligated to give me a ride there. So it was like, man, we were in the car, you were taking me where? And he said that I had made a comment that, that I'm going to be in the UFC one day, and that I probably should already be, and that I was going to get there. And, it feels really good to read messages like that.
Yeah. No, and I'm sure there's a lot of good feedback, and we'll get into that in a second here. But what was the game plan heading in? Did you feel like you executed it? Tough fight, but you ended up getting the W.
So, I thought to myself, and Coach Wood expected a takedown, expected, to him eventually wanting to shoot on me. And, I thought the same thing. And, I thought that he may try to wear me out in the first round with possible wrestling, and then try to outstrike me. And I even heard his coaches make some comments at some point, like they were expecting me to tire out and slow down. But that's why I started the fight southpaw, and I opened up from there, because I just felt like I could slow the pace of the fight down a little bit, from southpaw, by managing my range, being ready to take him down, be ready to crush him with my left kicks. And that whole sequence where he had about a 40-second flurry on me, that the more and more I watch it, the more and more I really see is like, how I felt in there. Like I was good. But we actually go in and exchange some hard body shots, and his head like crushes my jaw pretty hard, to the point where like my whole head snaps back. And that moment, like I made a sound, and I feel like the commentators were like, "Oh, mean body shot." But it's like, yeah, we both hit each other in the body, but like I feel like if I did grunt, it was more grunting because his whole head crushed the side of my face. But like that was the whole beginning to that sequence where I lost my footing against the cage. So, and then even after all that, I feel like I was already back to holding the center with 3 minutes left in that first round, and I
Mhm.
was already back to holding the center of the cage. So, but I was expecting him to be explosive and fast like that. But I felt like I would have been able to keep him, you know, if not being headbutted in that moment. I think I would have held the center. But that initial me taking a couple back steps towards the fence in the first place, was off of of a collision. Not, we both were coming in body shots. It was a collision. Nobody's fault.
Yeah. No, it happens. So the fight goes the distance. Judges are reading the scorecards. How confident were you had the decision? Because you never know with the judges, especially on Contender Series.
I felt confident, and when I was reading the numbers, I was feeling like, oh, it's like in my mind, I'm thinking like I heard like 29, 28, and I'm thinking like, man, they're gonna give him that round for the takedown, and I'm like, man, they're gonna give him, 2 rounds to three, and then they said my name, and and then when I knew it was split, I was like, I just kind of knew. It was like, man, I'm taking this, you know, I'm taking this win. So I
Now, Well, I was gonna say, and it's one thing to get the win, it's another thing to get the contract. Did you think you had the contract once you got the win? Were you confident in that? Because I know
You know,
a
I
lot of
think
times they like finishes.
I had so much adrenaline. Like I was just so happy um, to win and have put on a tough fight, and I really felt like I earned that win.
Yeah.
I really did, and it felt real nice. And you know, I belong in the UFC. And what's funny is like one of the people I noticed in the crowd um, that was cheering after I won was Forrest. Or I don't know if it was after they read the decision or after like the bell for the final buzzer went off. Like I remember looking out into the crowd and seeing Forrest. And I've been in Las Vegas for I've been training here. I've lived here longer, but I've been training here for 14 years. So like I've crossed paths with Forrest a lot, and you know what I mean. To see him out there like standing up, clapping, and being excited for my fight. It was really nice. And it just felt good. And I don't know. I don't want to say I'm not surprised, but like I almost felt like I knew I had it, you know.
Yeah.
And then
No,
like I
I hear you.
felt like I was already celebrating, and I already knew. And then like they were rushing me. They were like, because I was just really in the moment. They were like, dude, you gotta get in the chair. And I don't know if you remember the broadcast, but I barely got into the chair by the
I was gonna
time they
say,
were
yeah,
leading
it
up.
was a bit kind of awkward there a little bit, but you made it, right? So
Yeah, yeah, I made it. And, that's because I was just like I was really enjoying the win in the back. And like it's funny because all the commission people, I know them because like I've cornered so many of the amateur fights here in Vegas. Like some of these people in the commission, like I used to see them all the time. So to see that like for the first time, like since they stopped doing amateur fights and like pretty much locked down, the only people that are fighting here in Vegas is UFC and like some boxing and stuff. And it felt really nice to see those people. And then on the terms that I got to see them, like, hey, like I'm always coaching and cornering, but like now's my time. And it was nice to just see those people because they're also a big part of the journey as well.
you closed as a pretty big underdog, I'm pretty sure. Did you have anyone that won money on your fight that you know of, or anyone message you saying, "Hey, thanks, I won some money on this"?
And pretty much everybody I know.
Anyone win
Pretty much,
anything like big?
pretty much
Anything
almost
significant?
like yeah, I think there might have been a group of people as a whole that put 10,000.
Wow. Okay.
And then also just like a lot of people had just messaged me, and there's a lot of people that had told me like they had won money. And then like also a lot of people had told me like, yes, all my friends had also won money because they like I guess some of the people, they just seen the odds and they just know me personally, and they know what I've been through, and they know the fights I've taken and the fights I've won. And they just like, wow, they were you know they were surprised. Like they
Yeah.
knew, like a lot of these people that put money on me, like knew with confidence that I was gonna take it. And it kind of feels nice. Like, wow, you guys are really confident in me.
I guess the obvious question is, when are you looking to make your debut? Do you have sort of an idea in your head when you want to have that first UFC fight?
Um, really, I'm gonna get back in the gym. Um, be ready here to go. The doctor, thought it was a tough fight or whatever. So she signed me to a 45-day suspension. So like I can't take a fight within 45 days, and doesn't want me to really have any contact um for 30 days. But I know how to train smart, and I'm gonna get back in the gym and get ready to train. And yeah, hopefully be ready to take a short notice fight. But then also like I have an appointment at the PI later today, and I think we're gonna do some work on finding if I'm gonna compete at welterweight or lightweight. So if it's something that like that they say there, if they say, hey, we can get this guy to lightweight, give us some months to do it, and then they put me on a program, then there's always the opportunity to take a short notice welterweight fight in between. But then have that goal of getting to 55. But then if they say like, hey, we're just gonna make this dude a more solid, welterweight, then we'll go that route, and then also just be ready to fight short notice. I'm looking at a lot of people in the division, and I'm pretty confident. I can go toe to toe with anybody. But if the PI were to say I could healthily do 155, I'd love to fight Rafael Fiziev, or I hope
Fiziev. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. He's fighting Brad Riddell coming up, but yeah, I mean that type
yeah,
of opponent, I think, is what you're saying. Yeah.
yeah, that would be sick.
Yeah.
I'd love to strike with him, and and then also too, I think Renfro was a good fight, but if I stay at welterweight, I'd like to go toe to toe with someone tall and long, and kind of go back to, a lot of my fights before Solomon were guys with a significant height and reach advantage, and I kind of have a recipe for those guys, so I don't mind trying that recipe out on guys at the top level.
Anyone you want to thank? Any sponsors? Any social media? I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I just want to thank my strength coach, Nick Scott. He really helped out. The training we did really supplemented the sports training and the martial arts training, and never wore me out too much, but I felt in really good shape. Also, Veterans Vitality CBD. Use the discount code Jonny 25 for 25% off your order. And also shout out Syndicate MMA and Iridium Sports for the opportunity and the help with getting this contract and things like that. And shout out James Lynch for having me on the show. Appreciate you, buddy.